All right, let me turn the microphones on. Nice. That thing's working. And a very good evening. I want to welcome everybody just a few minutes late to our April 18th, 2016 regular meeting of the Bedminster Township Committee. Pleased to see everybody is here tonight. We have a full Township Committee, and I'd like to call the meeting to order with the Open Public Meetings Act statement.
Your adequate notice of this meeting of the Township Committee was sent to the Courier News in Somerville, to the Burnsville News in Burnettsville, to all subscribers, and also posted here at the Township Municipal Building as of January 14th, 2016.
I'll ask you all to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we have on the docket two sets of meeting minutes, our regular meeting from April the 4th and our executive session from April the 4th. Does anybody have any comments or questions, additions, subtractions? If not, I'll take a motion.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And is abstaining?
Oh.
Make the motion.
And I'll still second.
Okay. All right. I'm going to change things up here. I see a young man in the audience that has been sitting all day, and he is had a very busy day, and I want him to get some closure to his day. So I'd like to move up one of our resolutions to be next on the agenda. And it is Resolution 2016-052, and it's authorizing the hire of a new police officer. And I'd like our acting chief, Rock, to just tell us where we are with that so that we know what we're voting on.
Thank you. Obviously, you know that we were authorized to hire a new probationary police officer. Beginning of March, we posted the job opening, and that was sent out to all the police academies within the state of New Jersey. Return date on the resumes was March 21st. At that time, we intook 26 resumes. Not all of the applicants were PTC certified. Some were special officers that were eligible for a waiver, and some already were employed. Amongst the 4 sergeants, we reviewed all the resumes, and we came up with a list of 10 to interview. We convened an oral board interview consisting of myself, Sergeant Cummins, Sergeant Bernardo, and Detective Polito on April 2nd. And we invited 10 back. Out of the 10, one committed to another job, and one of them just failed to show. So we interviewed 8 candidates. We were all in agreement. We picked the top 2. After that, Sergeant Ariel and myself sat down for a second, like a lesser low-key interview that following Monday. And we came to the opinion that Jeff Beltry was our candidate and best suited for Bedminster Township.
Excellent.
I could tell you, without, I don't want to misspeak, but Jeff was enlisted in the Marines for 4 years, saw active duty in Afghanistan, and he came back and finished his bachelor's degree from Montclair University. So I think we came out pretty good with Jeff.
Good.
That's great.
And he will ultimately graduate the Morris County Police Academy on May 26, 2016. And that'll get him right in tune for our starting date of July 1st.
Terrific. Anybody on the dais have any comments or questions?
Sounds like a great candidate.
Yeah, sounds like a great candidate. Thank you for your service in Afghanistan, and great job. You graduated from Montclair State? Yes, sir. Great job.
What was your MOS? What'd you do in the Marines? I mean, we were always a Marine first, but you have a second job.
Always recommend. Always deal with ammunition, explosives, and a artillery unit.
Okay.
So, guns, long range.
All right.
We made a new fireworks inspector at some point here, so.
All right. Having said that, I will entertain a motion for Resolution 2016-052.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that, Mayor.
This will be a roll call vote. Mr. Payne?
Aye.
Mr. Olson?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Ms. Santucci? Aye. Mayor Parker?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Oh, that's all right.
Welcome aboard.
We look forward to seeing you come in here with a badge pretty soon.
Congratulations. Welcome aboard.
Been a long day. Have a good drive. All right. We will go back to our regular scheduled programming here, and we'll go back to the permits and raffles. We have several here. We have a raffle license, Cancer Support Community, Central New Jersey, on June the 4th, 2016, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., 3 Crossroads Drive. That's an off-premise 50/50. We have a raffle license for the Willow School, May 14th, 6:30 to 11:30 p.m. at 1150 Pottersville Road, an off-premise merchandise. Social affair permit for Villanova University. Didn't they do well in basketball this year? Okay. June 2nd, 2016, 6:30 to 9 p.m., 2030 Larger Cross Road. And a social affair permit for the Willow School, May 14th, 2016, 6:30 to 11:30 at 1150 Pottersville Road. A social affair permit for the Center for Contemporary Art, October 21st, 2016, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., 2020 Burnt Mills Road. And let's stop there, and then we'll do the final one as a separate item. Anybody comments or questions on the list that I'll take a motion for the first 5.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.
And finally, we have a fireworks permit for Andrew Allen, 1215 Larger Cross Road, May the 7th, 2016, 10:30 to 10:45. And we have a note here that I guess the height of the fireworks will exceed 500 feet. Mr. Bell, will you come forward and just give us any background and help us with any questions the committee may have?
Thank you, Mayor. Members of the Township Committee. It's International Fireworks. It's an outfit out of Pennsylvania. And they fireworks in Burnsville and down shore quite a bit. So they're well known, and references do speak well for them. The chief and I should say the lieutenant, I'm not promoting them tonight. The lieutenant and I went out to the site, and it's up on a hill. It's in the farm area. Cows and the sheep are going to be moved out, and the place where it's being fired is over 500 feet from the people on the road. It's a very easy site. One would like to have it later. I think our policy has been 10:45, but it must be finished by 11. I'd like to go, much later, but I think we want to make that part of the stipulation. There's quite a display of shells. It should be a very interesting display, and I refer to the chief, the lieutenant, who has to sign off with me, and the fire company. I've been trying to pin down. Do they have an apparatus there or not? It's not conducive to an apparatus because it's out in the middle of the field. So I recommend that we approve it, and it appears to be a very safe site. Not as good as some of the other sites we've used in the past, but it's out in the middle of the farm. I guess there's, 700 acres left that the Allens and his brothers and sister own together? I'm not familiar. I guess the planning board is.
Any other questions?
So the only issue is, what time did they want to do it? Like midnight?
The way these weddings are going is fireworks. They start at 7. They have cocktails, dinner, and everything gets pushed back. And then they have the fireworks just before they get in their car and drive away, or have the gerbs before they drive away. And that tends to push it back well beyond 11 o'clock. Hamilton is very insistent it goes off at a certain time. So is Trump. But at the individual houses, they kind of slip. And we want to be out there with fireworks at 12 o'clock at night, 12:30. We want to say 10:45, they go off at 11, it's not a big problem. We're going to drive around the property in their convertible. but that's kind of a signal when the fireworks go off for all the older folks to leave, to go home and have a good time. And then they're going to come back and party till I don't know when, but it's not our problem.
All right, if there's no further questions, I'll take a motion. Oh,
You do concur.
But if there's a question, please don't hesitate.
Well, Mayor, if I may, just to clarify, on the agenda, it says that the height will not exceed 500, but you mentioned that the fireworks are not 500 from the roadway, which is it both? Is it?
It's both.
It's both, okay.
Depending on the wind, if the wind is heavier, that they'll be angled a little differently. They may use some of the larger shells. They can change the shells that they use. They're very cognizant of their liability, the fireworks companies are. So people really don't know the difference. I mean, that's the bottom line. You know, I guess after 4 hours of partying, not too many people do know whether they're going 250 feet or 500 feet. But almost, what would you say, 1,000 feet from the nearest house, which they own.
Correct.
So
Is the fact that they're that far away from another dwelling, is it the, and waste travels, I guess, because they're explosive shells, so that's, I don't know if that changes anything with the...
well, it's right on top of the hill. I mean, you can see all the way into downtown Minster from there if you stand on that hill on a clear day. And I think we were there. The only neighbors are their own family, so to speak, and there was one other neighbor, and I always, his name, he lives in the old Douglas Dillon's house. And he's what, you say, half a mile away?
Oh,
He's a half mile away.
Yeah, I'm fine.
So
Whatever it is.
Nobody has any further questions? We'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
What timing on the motion? Are you going with the 10?
we're at 10:45,
10:45.
and I think you
Well,
want me
the
to
latest
slip
is 10:45, or is that
no
the
later than
beginning?
10:45.
Does it end at 10:45, or is that the latest it begins?
That's the latest it begins.
Okay.
They're all strung together, so once you get some of them firing, you can't really stop them.
Okay. It's about is it about a 15-minute
About a
show?
15-minute show.
Okay.
Okay, with that, all in favor? There was a
I need
motion
a
and
second.
I think there was a second.
I second it.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, thank you,
Yeah.
Bill.
Appreciate it.
Secondary meeting, we open up that microphone that Mr. Bell was at to public comments. A member of the public that wishes to come up and be heard, this is a good time to do it. We will also have a comment section at the end. Seeing none, we will move on to our monthly subcommittee reports, and we will start as traditional with Mr. Payne.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Couple of things. Last Wednesday, as I think you know, and the mayor attended, which was the Somerset County Governing Officials monthly dinner, which was held here at Delicious Heights. And that was a discussion by George Handley on the Veterans Court. And pretty good discussion, and a lot of questions were asked. And so the ask was for the municipalities that were present and others in Somerset County to pass a resolution basically endorsing the idea of a Veterans Court in New Jersey, where 38 other states currently have one, and New York and Pennsylvania are two of the ones of our neighbors that do. I don't want to go into that tonight. I did have a sample resolution as well as a fact sheet that was handed out. I'd be happy to, distribute these to everyone, and then if you wanted to put it on as new business for a discussion next meeting, we could do that. And this way you can go to some of the lists that they have here and kind of, prep a little bit more on and see if that's something that Bedminster wants to pursue. They're just asking for a resolution in support of the concept. I'll distribute these, and then Judy, maybe new business, if that's okay, Mayor?
Yeah, I spoke with Mr. Hanley.
Yeah.
I did not get to hear his presentation, I
Mhm.
believe, but I probably about 20 minutes of time with him
Yeah,
beforehand,
right.
and I didn't get the formal presentation. I did get to hear a lot of what he had to say, and I'd be interested in learning more.
Okay, good. Then that's what we'll do there. And the second item, Judy sent this over to me today. This from Donna Cummings, our tax collector. I had given her some material on the tax rebate program, and she went out and she spoke with a number of towns in the area that are currently utilizing it, Hillsborough being one, Bridgewater, Voorhees. She got back to me and basically said that everybody that participates in the program likes it very much. It wasn't a burden on the tax office, and that in the case of Hillsborough, given back $31,000 in 2015 tax reimbursements, and Voorhees gave out $38,000. So this is something with the committee's permission. I'd like to start working with Judy on maybe getting an information meeting, vendors and merchants in the area one night, maybe next month, to come here and learn more about the program. Then you can also learn more about it too. But it's at the first take, speaking with other people in other towns, it's a good program, and it's kind of well received by both the merchants and the residents. So I'll take the lead on that if it's okay, Mayor, and I think the first step is a information meeting.
I think, I mean, like the last time this went around, I think we really need to gauge a support of the merchants. 'Cause I
Right.
don't think we ever got a groundswell then, but
Yeah,
I was throwing that out, see what you catch.
right, so that's what we'll do, maybe midweek, one night here, and
Sure.
Judy, I'll work on how we get publicize that, although the newspaper is here, so why don't you follow up with me later on that, and when we come up with a date. That's it, Mayor.
All right, Mr. Olson.
I have nothing.
Okay. Mr. Jacobs?
Nothing to report on from prior committee meetings or subcommittee meetings, but a reminder that this Wednesday, there's the joint meeting between the Environmental Commission and Open Space. So that's Wednesday at 7.
Right here.
And that's it.
Mantucci?
I have no meetings. They're coming up on Wednesday and Thursday, historic preservation. So I have no report at this time, Mayor.
Okay. We attended the PTO last week. Nothing earth-shattering to report, other than the spring fling went very well, but they did not have their final dollar figures, but they felt it was successful on par with previous years. I can also report that over the past couple weeks, I got a letter of resignation from Claire Martin, from the long-serving member of our land use board, who he and his wife are moving south and west. So that's a very nice resignation as he's leaving town. I gave Ms. Sullivan a letter today, moving Kathy Christie into that position as a regular standing member, and appointed Scott Zupnick to the alternate position, who was the previous leader of the Business Association.
Good.
So that's somebody else, Bernie, you could probably talk to about that. I know you've probably been talking to him in years past about he'd have his finger on the pulse of the
Right.
merchant
Mhm.
still.
Mm-hmm, yep. Mm-hmm.
So we're putting that in motion. But that's all I've got. So to administrators report. Ms. Sullivan?
Nothing in writing per se. I'll address the budget in a little bit if you'd like. I got a phone call today, though, from NJDOT, and it was not the group that we've been speaking with, but a gentleman who met with us some time ago when we first started talking about the 78-287 interchange project. And this gentleman with the DOT works mostly on the reforestation projects. So he called me to let me know that normally with the trees that will be taken down from the interchange project of 287 and 78, they have to compensate in some way for those trees, 1 for 2. They write a check and give it to DEP, go into a fund. When he reached out to DEP this time, they said, no, we want you to go back to Bedminster and see if they have any need for some trees.
Riparian buffer?
So he said he was a little bit surprised, but he called. And he said, so if you can take 1,100 trees, you got them. And he said, on top of that, he said, part of the project,
John?
part of the project to go with it is also a contractor who will put the trees in.
I'll sign up for 50.
So, so I put him in touch with Paul Farrell's office. I think 1,100 trees is a few extra than what we need, but he said if you have other locations, maybe in a park or other property, the contractor comes with the trees to put the trees in. It's all paid for by the interchange project. So
1,100, that's a lot.
that's a lot of trees, but
Just keep them away from Port Road. All the trees I need.
so, I mean, Burnt Mills Park might be a nice location. I'm sure we can have some other areas, but primarily it would satisfy the riparian buffer requirement for our hike and bike trail.
That's terrific.
So,
All right. Well, hopefully one check.
so that's a project that was on our capital
Yeah.
list for next year, and hopefully we can take that off.
Excellent.
Because not, they would put in and donate the trees.
Wow.
And 120,000 we had set aside for the project for next year, so.
All right.
Wow.
That's a good thing.
You get to choose the trees? I mean,
Um,
what is the tree
It
standard?
has to fit what our need is. They're not,
Oh, okay.
they haven't ordered them or anything. They will determine with Mr. Farrell what we need.
What species and?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, totally in compliance
Just
with,
thinking if the municipal complex needs any rhododendrons or something. I mean, I don't know what the definition of a tree is, but there might be ways to
so we have,
fully leverage that,
we have to
right?
have that conversation.
Yeah.
Not all one species, right?
So, yeah, it was just good news.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's it. All right. As we move to public hearing on ordinances, we have ordinance 2016-004. I know we have one person in the back waiting this, and this is an ordinance to extend the lease agreement between Bedminster Township and the Center for Contemporary Art. This ordinance extends the current lease agreement with the center for an additional 25 years, taking us all the way to 2041, and this is the public hearing. Can I get a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Public hearing open. I will invite any member of the public and from the dais who wishes to comment or have questions on it. This is the time we do it.
A quick comment, Mr. Sordillo, who's with us tonight, did write the ordinance, so if you have any questions, I'm sure he's versed.
Anything significantly changed from the old lease agreement?
No, it's only changing, extending the term. All the other terms of the original lease agreement remain in full force and effect.
I think we did also address their name change.
Oh, yes, I
They were
apologize.
previously the
Yes.
Somerset Art
yeah.
Association, and now they're the
Yeah.
Center for Contemporary Art.
So given the number of years that remain on the lease, and because we want to extend it beyond that, we're adding 17 years. Is that what it comes down to?
Correct. So the original First Amendment extended it, and this now will that extended it to 2024. So to have them to have 25 years, which they need for their grant application, we're at 17 onto that. So they'll have additional 25 from this date, but an additional 17 from what's already been approved.
Any other comments or questions? Then I'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Having said that, can we get a motion to pass ordinance 2016-004?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Mr. Payne?
Aye.
Ms. Olson?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Ms. Santucci? Aye. Mayor Parker?
Aye. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
All right, consent agenda. We have 3 resolutions for the consent agenda, starting with Resolution 2016-048. That is the release of land use board, or land use board escrow. I think it is in the amount of $886.23. Any comments or questions?
Thank you.
If not, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We do all three together.
Okay, all right. That's why it's a consent
That's a
agenda.
consent
We haven't
agenda.
had a consent agenda in a long time. So, and then we'll move on to
Well, see, Joe is
2016-050.
here, and Joe is
Efficient.
very efficient. He's got three resolutions.
All right,
on
alternate
that.
lease of a cash performance guarantee to Stephen Morris. All right, any questions on any of the three? If not, we'll take a motion, motion
stand?
for all three. Do you
Motion
want the
will
motion to stand?
Okay, with that roll call vote, Mr. Payne?
Aye.
Mr. Olson?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Ms. Santucci?
Aye.
Mayor Parker?
Aye.
Good.
Send me to remedial
Remedial mayor's school.
mayor's school, that's right. All right, so we do have some individual resolutions here that we will handle individually. Starting with Resolution 2016-051, authorizing the payment from the Township Affordable Housing Trust Fund for Joint Vision is 13 defense costs in reference to the Mount Laurel declaratory judgment actions. And I know Mr. Bellardo has been working diligently on this. Mr. Sordillo, is there new other than paying for it?
Yeah, no, nothing really new. The only other point, which I'm sure John has made the committee aware of, is that the Judge Miller has, at the last case management conference, endorsed the idea of the group, Vicinage 13 group, defense group being organized, and actually put a penalty for towns that don't join. So it's a good thing, I think, for municipalities, and it's going to save a lot of money in the long run.
Any comments or questions? If not, we'll take a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second that motion.
This will be a roll call vote. Mr. Payne? Mr. Olson?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Ms. Santucci?
Aye.
Mayor Parker?
Aye.
Thank you.
Resolution 2016-053 and 054, but they'll be separate, appointing a temporary full-time seasonal laborer for the Department of Public Works. Mr. Miss, do you have anything you want to tell us about these
This
two?
is the second summer help person that I generally put on. Why is there two on there? Just curious.
Our other person? For the-
Oh, I'm sorry. Very good, thank you.
Oh, I know what the second one is. That's right. We'll get to that in
So
a second.
there was one for the additional seasonal help, which we have, and then the other one is a local resident who, over the past few months, has been picking up litter along the road, and she finally came forward and asked for bags. So in that time, I said, well, why don't I pay you to pick up litter? Out of our Clean Communities money, since you're doing such a wonderful job. And she accepted, and that's kind of like where we are at this point in time.
And so, but twofold, we have a grant, Clean Communities grant, that will totally fund the employee, give her all the supplies to do the litter pickup, but it also protects her with insurance in case
Correct.
there was a problem. So,
And there's some OSHA protection, and she'll have, it doesn't already have a vest or...
She has
Right.
it best.
yeah, all the safety equipment, but just, if she's out there on the side of a Bedminster roadway, we like her to be protected.
For some reason, she felt the need, and I'm not going to stop her.
No?
Good for her.
And where's she patrolling?
Up in 206. She was down by one of the gas stations down 206 off of 287. She was up in front of the post office one day. She's been all over.
She's in the park. She goes
So she
over.
picks up a couple hours a day when she can. She's also a visiting nurse, a retired visiting nurse, but she does do volunteer at the time, and so a couple hours here, a couple hours there, things get picked up.
She'll also go on the hike and bike trail?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. and she-
So we still have other employees who are interested in doing that also. I do also can tell you that the Headwaters Association did do a stream cleanup, a big cleanup of ice. Yes, not only here in Bedminster, but I think also in Far Hills, and we collected quite a bit of trash from their cleanup over the weekend.
So, interesting
And
story.
we made a donation to Raritan Headwaters to assist them in that project too, out of the Clean Communities grant.
Now, I've all screwed up one of these trying to keep things separate, so let me see if I can get this correct. So we'll start out with 2016-053. That is the regular time, full-time seasonal laborer for DPW. Can I get a motion for that?
So moved.
Second.
Also, roll call vote. Mr. Payne?
Aye?
Mr. Olson?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Ms. Santucci?
Aye.
Mayor Parker?
Aye.
Okay.
Now, 2016-054, this is the temporary part-time seasonal laborer that's helping us with trash collection on the side of the road, paid for out of the Clean Communities.
Yes.
Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second?
A roll call vote. Mr. Payne?
Aye?
Mr. Olson?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Ms. Santucci?
Aye.
Mayor Parker?
Aye.
John,
Thank you.
express our thanks to Ms. Welch for, it's nice when a rep sees something that has to be done and just does it, you know.
I have
Yeah.
many times, and
Yeah,
she's a good one.
good, good.
All right, a couple more things here. We have 2016-056, and that is a resolution to concur with New Jersey DOT repair and replacement project for Rattlesnake Bridge Road, a bridge over I-78. Mr. Payne, I attended a meeting, I guess now a week ago Friday,
Yeah. Mhm.
and the difference from the first time to the second time was we got into a big discussion on the first one about off-ramps and how they were non-standard, and that it did not allow larger trucks to do a U-turn. And a couple of us said that we thought that they should be standard and we should not be causing the trucks to have to go to another interchange or go up through the back roads of Bedminster, or do what they're continuing to do, which is damage the roadway by making the U-turn anyway. So DOT, in their infinite wisdom, put the project up into several parts, and the on-ramps were off the table. They'll do that at another time, when and if they ever get the money around to it. So that got taken off the table. So that wasn't even a proposal. So it just got down to the when and where for repairing the road, and how they would do that with partial closure, 1 lane, 2 lane, no lane, certain times. And Bernie, do you want to summarize what
Yeah, what I-
came up with?
well, yeah, well, is that the original proposal along with the bridge was the ramps, but that was going to extend the project and create other problems. And one of the biggest hurdles that we had was a displacement and inconvenience to the school busing, to both Trump National and Fiddlers for big events that they're having around that same time. So the idea was to minimize the mayhem and the inconvenience. So we were able to condense it into a certain period of time. I think maybe they said that they do some staging ahead of the time, and then in case of a couple of the events, actually waiting till the event is over with, and then commencing the real construction next year.
So this is
yeah.
18, and after Fiddlers had their project, we're going to let them take the bridge down, complete, until about a week or so after school starts, right?
Right. I think that's how they're
And then
going to do it.
hopefully they'll have 1 lane back.
We'll get lane back, and then, the idea with minimal disruption. And that was basically on all the feedback that we got from all the various stakeholders, and everyone was agreeable. Emergency services too. They all felt that they could live with the ultimate outcome.
And do we didn't hear anything about the battery backup for the light? That
I did not read. Is it in the resolution you're asking?
Nothing about the battery backup in the light. I sent over the resolution you have in front of you for review by the DOT, and this is kind of how they wanted it. We didn't talk about the battery backup.
do we want to put a sentence in there asking for that? We kind of, Rock brought up a really good point, and that is at a lot of our intersections, when the power goes out, some of them, the traffic light goes out, and he's got to have somebody out there either to direct traffic or put up signage or put up barriers. And if they're going to work on this, and by the way, the whole guts for the traffic light is on the bridge and it has to be physically moved, could we out of this a battery backup on that they on certain lights where when the power goes out, it just goes to either a red or a yellow blink in all directions?
Mhm.
Am I characterizing it correctly?
That's correct, sir.
And great idea. Great idea. And in fact, we asked for that, and we asked for the turnaround turnarounds too for the fire department, but that's another story. And they hemmed and hawed and said, well, that's not a part of the project. And Carl came in and said, well, you've got to physically move it. Can't you just install this? And we said, we're saving you guys a lot of money by going cold turkey yet again on another bridge to close it. And they whispered back and forth and said, well, maybe we could do that. So perhaps we can put a sentence in there asking for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Since they seem to agree to it at our meeting.
Yeah, the turnaround, I don't see how that was such a, I think you explained, and, and John, maybe you added on to where the turnarounds were, and there's this gap from, of an area where you have to go past, turn around, and then come back. Didn't seem like putting another turnaround in the median there.
No, turnaround is a separate issue. That is,
Yeah.
on I-78, having a gravel area where, since the interchange will be closed for a while, that emergency vehicles can do a U-turn
Right.
from the westbound lane to the eastbound lane. The ones that we're not supposed to use,
Right.
but you see them there, and you'll see vehicles or emergency vehicles. It allows a fire truck to be able to turn around, or police. And that's something that the fire and rescue squad was also asking for.
I think I wanted to just mention, Mayor, as you know, the project was originally supposed to go in 2017, but because of the Bennett Trump in 2017, it was agreed that it wouldn't even try to deal with that, and now it's been moved to 2018. So problem solved there. So it's not even a consideration.
Bernie, what did we come up with the fire truck turnaround? Do we remember that?
I thought it was like they would get back to us on it.
Recall.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Carl?
I think when they spoke about it, they were going to make it a permanent turnaround, and I thought they were going to speak to the state police.
Yes.
Yes, that's right, they were going to speak to, I know they were going to get back to us, but I
So
think that was
Do we
one.
need to have that in this resolution?
Well, if we don't ask, we don't get,
That's
right?
They're not here, so we can ask for anything we want.
I don't think that's a major thing, to put the turnaround in there. I mean, I'm not sure exactly where it's going to go.
He needs this, or requested the resolution by.
Then give me a date.
So they
But
pushed
you
the whole
could
project a year.
Certainly
Yeah,
approve
so-
it as amended, and we could, put some additional verbiage in.
Well, I think, I think I'd rather have confirmation from DOT that they're willing to make those improvements that Mayor, Bernie, and I think Chief mentioned, and then formalize them in here.
Okay.
Put them on the first May meeting?
Oh. Okay. Because they did approve it as written, so I can add that after our meeting and see if they'll approve it again.
Yeah, they didn't say no. I think, as you said, Carl, they just said, let's talk to the state police, but they seemed to somewhat amenable to it.
It just doesn't seem that we have the lighting and the turnaround. All right. We'll table that till the next meeting.
Okay, we'll do it.
Resolution 2016-057, authorizing the award of contract, HW Allward, Inc. This is for the sanitary sewer collection system.
Yeah, maybe John could give you a quick date.
So this is a follow-up to the sewer break that we had a few weeks ago. We did look at the sewer line again, T line, thanks to PPAC Gladstone Public Works Department, and determined the line has some severe issues and needs to be replaced. So we're replacing the line from the repair of what we made at the manhole at the intersection all the way to the first manhole up Hillside Avenue past Delicious Heights. Right before that, Mr. Terrace, which is about 300 feet. And it should solve some of the issues we currently are having at this point. So we did TV the line. There are every joint that we could get to with the camera. The gaskets are now out of them, hanging, whatever. Judy has a video if you care to
If you'd like to
spend
see
some
it.
time.
It's lovely.
Yeah. So, we
Just
have
a
to do this.
question. I know that the resolution says out of the sewer utility operating fund, right?
That's the emergency account that we approved a few weeks ago.
Right.
Yeah.
And then at some point is the determination as to STAB participation, and this is going to be in front of some of those lines.
There's no staff participation. This is totally a Bedminster.
No, there's none of those lines
No,
link up?
this is
No.
on Hillside Avenue.
This is the collector system for Bedminster Utility.
Okay. Just wondering if there was any
No.
STAB overlap there. Okay.
I guess we are relatively fortunate that it came now as the paving, that we'll get it in before the paving.
Well, that's what we're trying to accomplish. We're trying to push this thing through as much as possible. I've been in contact with the contractor, Delpel Paving, trying to find out their schedule. They're looking at the first week in May. I know they're doing the curb cuts, sidewalk adjustments, whatnot right now. Spoke with the electrical contractor who's going to do some modifications to the traffic light at Hillside Avenue and to the 2. Just today, they are going to do some work tomorrow on that, so we're trying to work everything. Once I get past that intersection, I'll be a lot happier at this point in time, get out of the intersection. So, trying to get it done before they pave.
Other comments or questions? I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Roll a vote. Mr. Payne?
Aye.
Mr. Olson?
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Ms. Santucci?
Aye.
Mayor Parker?
Aye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, and the long-awaited Resolution 2016-055, which is the adoption of our 2016 budget, which almost seems like a long time ago that we finally got this through.
Actually, I have something you need to read.
Uh-oh.
Just came over from the order. We only got approval this afternoon from the state. So, to read this first paragraph with the numbers. Okay.
When I say I'm reading this, whatever, you mean, am I reading this into the record?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so for the Resolution 2016-055, be it resolved that the Township Committee of the Township of Bedminster, County of Somerset, the budget herein before set forth is hereby adopted and shall constitute an appropriation for the purpose stated of sums therein set forth as appropriations and authorizations of the amount of $6,576,399.22 for municipal purposes. And then I can go all the way down to item D, $365,297, open space recreation, farmland, and historic preservation trust fund levy. Item E, $830,201.48 for the library. That's what I'm reading?
Yes.
All right. Nope. This, as I'm looking on the note that you handed to me by the procedures, this looks different than what we've done in past years. It says, open the meeting for public hearing on introduced budget and close the meeting to the public. That's not a closed session, that is just close the comments, open it up for comments?
It's similar to an ordinance.
Okay.
So you
All right.
open the public hearing for the budget, and then you close the public hearing for the budget, and then you vote on the budget.
All right.
If you'd like during the public session, if you'd like me to give a short presentation or not, that's up to you.
Okay. Get a motion to open up the discussion?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Judy, do you have one or two slides?
I have a short one.
Just give us the summary.
Summary.
I know we will be able to furnish Jake with any other
You have lights?
fine-tune of numbers that he would like.
Okay. 2016 budget, total budget, $10,929,126. How does that add up as compared to last year? Our appropriations are up from 2015 about $205,000, almost $206,000. But the good news is our revenues before taxes are also up for $115,000 from last year. So revenue is what we use to pay our bills before we go to the taxpayer and ask for their contribution. So we take the total budget minus our revenues, ends up with the amount to be raised through taxation. So you can see down here, 12, 13, 14, 15, 2016 amounts, 90,000 at the end of the day. It was up 205,000, but the amount to be raised by taxes only went up by $90,000 over 2015, which ended up being a 1.24% increase. You can see we are as far as, 2015 was a 0.89% increase and 3% 14, 2.6 2013, 5% back in 2012. You can just see how we stack up. Our top increases for 2016 due to the assessments for our properties. The calculation does have the municipal library contribution did increase. Employee health care costs go for health care, they don't go down, but I will say the employees do contribute over $185,000 towards those benefits. But the health care did increase about $55,000. Our liability insurance also went up a little over $12,000. Pension costs a little over $7,000. The biggest increase in our budget this year was our capital budget, went up over 20% over last year. Our total cost in our capital budget, $589,778, which is increased about $112,000 over last year. But we have a lot of projects. We also have savings. Our debt service, due to a refunding bond we did at the end of last year, over $63,000 we're saving in our debt service. Police salaries did go down almost $20,000 this year. Gasoline costs, we did decrease our gasoline budget by about $15,000. Hopefully gasoline prices don't increase too much. We have a new contract with the zoning official, which puts us down a little over $8,000. And one big cost-saving measure was our new shared municipal court. Last year we did with PPAC and Gladstone. This year we've now increased it. We expanded it to with Bernardsville, and we share staff, professionals, our facilities, our judge, and court security. And 2015 was $150,000 we saved between PPAC and Bedminster. And with Bernardsville coming on board, we're saving an additional $65,000 between the three towns. So that's definitely a big savings. As I said, capital is our big expenses this year. Our projects between pavement management, building upgrades, equipment for the fire company, public works equipment, and equipment for the police department, including the completion of our new county radio system, came with $1,044,570,000 in items that we purchased, or purchasing this year. But with grants and ordinances from some funding from previous years, we have over $450,000 that we're putting towards that cost. So the amount going actually to the taxpayer is $589,778. Best employees, the cost, other increases with our pension costs and our health care costs. Just have a little chart here of how employees, the number of employees have changed over the years. This year we have 41 full-time employees and 43 part-time employees. The majority of the part-time employees are our summer counselors for our camp programs. Totally 4 employees overall. And if you look back, we're pretty distant. Back to 2009, we had 88 employees back in 2009. So we pretty much on the same. Not a big change. Usually around 40 full-time employees. Again, I mentioned the revenues. Our revenues are up, but one thing that always stays the same is our state aid recently. There's talk of maybe some new legislation to get some of our state aid back that was taken away in previous years, some of Comptra aid. But right now, it's been the same since 2012, $866,280. That's what we get every year from the state. This is a report from our tax assessor as to the ratables of Bedminster for 2016. We do assessments every year. We do 25% of our properties every year, and we have almost 5,000 properties that we handle here in Bedminster. You see vacant land, the assessed values did decrease. Residential properties, over 4,000, did increase about 3.76% this year. So even taxes remain the same because assessments are going up, the value of your property goes up, well, your tax bill will go up slightly. Farms went up slightly, 0.60%. Commercial properties, a lot of businesses in town, the assessments are still going down, 1.89%. And utilities did go up slightly, 1.26%. So overall, this is the value of all the properties in Bedminster. I can't even say that number. And overall, 1.99%. You take the value of all the properties in Bedminster, the total assessed value, divided by 10,000, $243,532. That's what one tax point equals. Every time our budget goes up or down by that amount, it increases our budget by 1 cent. Decreases our budget by 1 cent, depending. That's how we get to the tax rate. This just goes into a little more detail. Our property values, there's that number again. The amount we raised by taxes, after we add in all our revenues, was $7,406,600. So you take the amount we need to raise by taxes, divide it by the value of all the properties in Bedminster, multiply it by $100, it's $100 of assessed value. The local tax rate plus the library rate ends up being 30.41 cents per $100 of assessed value for the municipal portion of the tax rate. You add in the open space tax, which is 0.015. The overall tax rate for the municipal portion of the budget is 0.3191. Okay. That wrapped up with everything else. I have estimated the school to come in around 2%. The county, I have it listed as 2%. I did hear that they set their tax rate under 2%. I think it was 1.95 or 1.85. So that is high. The number will actually come in lower than this. But if you add in the school tax, the county tax, our open space, our library tax, and then our local tax, our total tax rate, $1.357. And that may come down slightly again with the county and school tax. So what does that mean for the taxpayer? So with the average residential assessed value this year is a little over $450,000. With the tax rate that we just mentioned, 0.391 per $100 of assessed value, which again includes the library tax, open space tax, and our municipal portion. The low tax portion of an average tax bill is about $14.21, which is just up about a little over $20 from 2015. And again, remember that the assessed values went up 3.76%. So that's part of the reason for the increase. So in a nutshell, that's basically what I have about the budget. I want to bring to everyone's attention the tax document of the budget. It's a very 43-page long document. On the website, although we have that document, we have what's called the user-friendly budget, and it's a condensed version of all the information in the budget. It's posted. It's much easier to read. Includes a lot of information about employees and our different, all the departments, what their costs are, and I encourage everyone to take a peek at it. It kind of simplifies the budget so anyone can really make sense of it. So And this will also be on the website for anyone to look at if they have questions. So, that's all I have.
All right, Bernie, if you'll turn the lights back on.
Sure.
Thank you, Judy.
Judy. And also want to thank department heads, our acting chief, John Mance, Judy. Budget season is never fun. It's never easy. It continues to be the most difficult, yet in my estimation, the most important thing we do as a governing body. And again, this year was no exception. It was very difficult, and I'm pleased at what we were able to come up with. You know, look at those numbers up there, and you look at the police radios that were foisted upon us from the county and actually well above, and we'll split that into a 2-year project. If you look at the amount of increase just over the last 2 years, it's that amount, or pretty darn close to that amount. So, yet we are in the state of New Jersey where property taxes are a much bigger burden than most states, so, you know, our work is not done, but it again, this town takes it very seriously and works very hard on the budget. And I want to thank everybody for their work. And other comments or?
I'll just, echo what you said, Mayor. I want to thank all my colleagues for, the hours that we put into this, and it is arduous at times, and we have to be imaginative, but, it's an effort along with the employees and staff and our professionals. And, I've been doing it for 10 years now, and every year it seems that, even though taxes inevitably will go up over a period of time, if you compare Bedminster with some of the other municipalities in the state and the state itself, we're in pretty good fiscal shape. In a state of, anything but tranquility.
Is anybody else struck with how found the last 2 years, how great those numbers are? And that coincides with me being on the Township Committee.
Never thought of that, Ken.
We might want to refer to this as the Olson era. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
We're going to have to take a look at that, Ken. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's correlation or merely an association, but it just jumps out at you,
I was thinking after 2012.
Make a resolution to call these golden years the Olsen years.
That's right. Oh, don't break your arm there. Reaching around there.
A little humor, Mayor.
All right, very good. All right, having said all that, can I get a motion for Resolution
We need
2016?
to close the public hearing.
Oh, let's do that. That's a good idea. I am not on my game tonight.
I'll make
I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to close the public.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Now, I will entertain a motion for Resolution 2016-055.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Roll vote. Mr. Payne.
Aye.
Mr. Olson.
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs.
Aye.
Ms. Santucci.
Aye.
Mayor Park.
Aye.
I should have deferred and let you make the motion since it is the Olson budget.
You've been doing this for years.
Is this going to be like the Al Franken decade?
Not at all.
Not at all? All right. All right, approval of the bill list. I'll take a motion to approve the bill list pending the approval of individual invoices. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And roll call vote. Mr. Payne.
Aye.
Mr. Olson.
Aye.
Mr. Jacobs.
Aye.
Ms. Santucci.
Aye.
Mayor Park.
Aye.
Thank you.
Discussion items, new business, old business. Is there anybody that has any, Mr. Payne spoke earlier of the property tax discount program, but is there any other new business that we would like to discuss tonight?
The only, I would just like, John, you mentioned it earlier regarding the sewer issue. But if you could just, for those who may be wondering what's going on with the 202 corridor and all that construction, if you could just talk about the sidewalks that
Sure.
are being worked on?
Part of the repaving of the 202 corridor, which I believe really affects Bedminster the most, is from up here at the light, right below Miller Lane, and it's going to extend all the way to Sunny Branch Road and Far Hills. So it's a very short stretch that they're doing, and they're going to jump to an area up towards Burnersville. But part of that is that the federal regulations have now changed. So anytime you have a handicapped ramp that on a sidewalk that enters a roadway or near a roadway, they have to reconfigure it for the new ADA compliant entry. So they're redoing all those at this point in time. Also, reconfiguring the traffic light at intersection of Hillside Avenue and 202 to accommodate the new camera system they have. So they're taking out the wire loops that are in the roadways, and they're putting the camera system in so that all works. Part of it is, installing some conduit. They're going to also redo something with the island there at the intersection. To what extent, I'm not sure about. So we're hoping to be done with this within the next few weeks anyway, at this point in time.
Great, thank you, John.
Thank you.
Old business. Pony Farm. I will say that at Spring Fling, I saw Superintendent Giordano, who I assured or was able to fill in some gaps because she got to read in Jake's newspaper about the partnership that Purnell was looking to do with the Bedminster School. So it had not filtered down to the Bedminster School yet, and I assured her that there was probably a lot more to come in the coming weeks on that, should that come to fruition. But do we have anything else on that?
Nothing. Not
Okay.
at this point.
Cleveland Public Library, pretty camera request.
We'll wait till when
wait
Sandy
till
comes
Sandy
back
comes
to us about it.
Okay. And then Verizon Wireless.
So at our last meeting, we did appoint special counsel. I have forwarded Jonathan Drill. I forwarded all the information we have so far over to him for review, and I know the attorney representing Verizon had his contact information, and there's a back and forth. I don't have an update though.
Okay. All right.
The only thing, if you want to get that some information over to them, I don't know where they are in drawing up contracts or discussions, but there were the master associations and some of the homeowner associations want to express concern, rightfully so, I believe, about anything that would be hung or attached to the street lighting within the planned community, the decorative light poles. I can't see anything being compatible, being hooked onto that of a high-tech nature.
The only one proposed at this time was not within the hills. The only areas proposed was not in the hills. So, but that doesn't mean there might be additional. So.
Right. So that was the concern.
Mayor, there's a concern with Verizon that they don't maintain their lines as they should. We have a tree that's sitting on 206 on the southbound lane that's been sitting in the wire since the last storm, and they're not responsive. They don't have tree crews. They could care less. So until it comes down, nobody will do anything about it, and then they'll put their wires back up. So I don't know if we can force them to do anything when we have situations like this. They want something within our right-of-way, but yet they don't want to take care of anything in the right-of-way.
John, is there a existing electrical line
No.
that goes through that? This is just
That's just the Verizon.
Phone and cable, and I know that Officer Cummings called it in again. We've called it in a number of times. During Sandy, one of their comments was, well, we string it across the George Washington Bridge, and if it breaks then we have a problem, but we don't care about it if trees are on.
Well,
But yet, trees hanging over 206 and everybody calls. The police department has the number of phone calls all the time, and they have to respond. And the only thing we can do is to contact them, but they don't seem to have anything.
that sounds like something we can mention to Mr. Drill
Yeah.
and see if we can get some help on that.
Thank you.
All right, no, I appreciate the heads up. Okay, that brings us to public comments. Any member of the public wishes to be heard? There's a microphone right up there. Please come forward, say your name and address. No takers? No takers. All right, seeing none, we'll move on to Township Committee comments. Let's go, Mr. Payne.
I just wanted to mention, Mayor, when you were at the governing officials and you gave the introductory speech, I like the idea of you going and talking a little about the history of Lee's Tavern and how we did our reorganizations there. And
Too bad they don't have a bigger room. It was a very small room, perfect for the governing officials'
yeah,
attendance the other night. Well, it's not that big.
I think we had about 35 people there,
Yeah,
but
no,
that
it
was about as many as you could fit in there, I think.
Yeah, but, yeah, that place got a lot of history. So,
Yeah.
thank you.
That's it.
Mr. Olson?
Nothing.
Jacobs?
No comments, Mayor?
Mr. Tucci?
No comment, Mayor, thank you.
Two things that I have written down here. One other thing I failed to mention, just with the budget numbers that we had up there, another thing that jumped out at me was the evaluations. And it dovetails to something that's going on. I think we received a phone call or two in recent days because our tax assessor, unlike towns, does a systematic reevaluation of this town on that's usually about 4 years to get everything done. And Bedminster Township's evaluations are up to speed, and that is good for Bedminster. It keeps our tax appeals to an absolute minimum. Our tax assessor is on the job, getting it done, doing a good job. If you read the newspaper lately, there's a big city, perhaps soon to be the biggest city in the state of New Jersey. The mayor seems to be in a little bit of hot water because it seems some of their poorer neighborhoods appear to be subsidizing some of their richer neighborhoods. At least that's what the headline says. I've not had a reevaluation in years and years and years, and that's why that disparity exists. And so, although it is onerous, people don't like having the tax assessor knocking on their door and wanting to know if their bathroom's been updated or what their property looks like. And I know nobody likes having the government looking over their shoulder into their yard. But it is good for the overall health of the township as far as making sure that our taxes, our property taxes are fair. And ours are fair, if nothing else. So what struck me about those numbers were, as Judy mentioned, that our residential valuations are going up more than 2%, but our business valuations are down almost exactly 2%. And we did this in front of the land use board, or I've said it in front of the land use board. As our business corridor continues to not perform, no matter how well we do on our budget, and we do an extraordinary job on our budget trying to keep spending in check, residents will continue to pay more and more and more out of their pockets for the fact that our businesses are not as healthy as they could be. And so that is also part of our job too, not just keeping a cap on spending. I won't say that's easy because it's not, but encouraging business in our commercial corridor is something that we need to do. And this town is going to have to look at that and see what areas within our existing commercial corridor can grow and what we're willing to tolerate in that regard. So that is something we have to look at going on to the future. We executive session tonight with some items on here that I don't believe we're going to come out with the decisions on. So we will reconvene after it's over, but there will be nothing we will be announcing. So I would like to get a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll see you in the other room. Thank you. microphones, we can,
You can be relieved.
So the time now is 9:40, and we're out of executive session. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night.